Alright, let's see if we can do yet another Back to the Future decode. Oh, this is absolutely mental, this one. I don't even know where to start with this, to be quite honest. This is the scene where Marty's waking up in basically his grandparents' house with his mother with him, and he's just pushed George McFly out of the way of the car, his grandfather's car, and he's taken the hit for him. Okay, so I just happened to click on this part of the video, and we're going to actually move through it, but I just happen to be on this part of the video. I'm looking right here on the sideboard already, and I'm seeing Scotty's something. I don't know what that is. Some kind of maybe it's a shortbread cookie, or something. But there's a little box that says Scotty's on the side of it here. So we've already got a great Scott reference going on here. Yet another one to which I think is a reference to the cross of St. Andrew, and that whole idea of the Virgin Mary with the blue and white. Okay, so that's a reference to the metaphysical again, and of course Marty's waking up with his red t-shirt still on. Okay, but probably about as close as you could get to his birthday suit in this one for a little rebirth scene, with it keeping it PG still, sort of thing. But they're talking. Well, Lorraine is talking underwear at this point, calling him Calvin Klein. And me being from England, obviously, I've mentioned this before, but being from England, obviously, you get slightly exposed to Cockney rhyming slang. And of course, Calvin Klein does sound a lot like 11/9. Okay, so 11/9, of course, being 9/11, right? So there's just lots of interesting things always going on in Back to the Future, but it gets so much more interesting than this, okay? Because as we get to a point where they're going downstairs, right? This is the bit that I really want to focus in on. Where is it now? Let me see. Okay, I want to get to just the start of the scene. Okay, Joey in the playpen, right? Because right now, Uncle Sam is Joey. That's who is controlling the system right now, supposedly. Well, we know he's not really controlling the system, but he's the figurehead, right? This dude that they put in charge has probably a lesser IQ than this toddler, this baby that's in here. Don't even know if we're even at toddler stage yet here. But, this baby that's in the playpen, okay? And the pen, this is the Matrix. This is who is in charge of the Matrix right now, okay? And this is what we do. We play along with this idea, and we all go ahead and get in that playpen with Uncle Joey, And so we already have a reference going on here to potentially to somebody that is running the system right now. Okay, it's just the way I'm seeing it, right? So this is interesting that we're connecting Uncle Joey here with probably Joe Biden, and who is running the system right now, the figurehead. Not really running it, but is giving the impression that he's running it. Okay. Anyway, what I want to do is focus in on the backdrop in this scene as he sits down to have his meal with his grandparents, and some of the stuff that happens in here, because there's a couple of very interesting, and a couple of interesting number jumps as well we're going to pull out of this here in a minute as well. So, okay, they're sitting down, they're watching Jackie Gleason, okay, and this is, I think, The Honeymooners. I had it pulled up on a tab here, and what we're looking at is the one that they're going to reference in here is this scene here, this one here, which is episode 14, The Man from Space, and it's released on December the 31st. The interesting thing about December the 31st is the last day of the year. It's number 365, moving in, and no days left, okay, to the end of the year. So we're basically at that point of reset with that date. Okay, that's what I found interesting about them using the man from space. Obviously, the man from space does reference nicely back in with the Space Odyssey theme. You know, that whole idea, you know, the man that fell to Earth, David Bowie being Dave Bowman, all these connections back to the Odyssey. So again, the man from space, you know, and of course, the man from space, the womb, is that space where we are born from, that void, the void, and we're born into the physical world, okay, from that place, okay. It's all, you know. What else is interesting about that though is that the actual date in the film, it actually says it right here. Of course, it's November the 5th, 1955, and that should have been episode number 6, which is the Sleepwalker. Named the Sleepwalker, okay? That's what would have been actually showing at that point in time. So that is kind of interesting that they didn't just go with what was actually on at that point. Obviously, there's a reason why they chose to change it to this episode that was in Back to the Future. Okay. What else did I want to? Where else do I want to go with that? So that was interesting, and I'm thinking the reason why they did that is because this is a reset date. The 31st of December is a reset date, the end of the year, starting that transition into the new year. So that's why I think that to me is the reason why they use that date. So what else I want to show about this? Well, there's quite a bit to get through in here. So what we have going on with the dinner table here, firstly, while I'm on the subject of the TV here, because of course the TV is what shapes our reality right now. The thing that really came in and controlled people with a huge amount of propaganda. Okay, obviously, you know, all different kinds of media do that, but obviously the TV was a huge turning point. What more do I want to say about that? Notice the bunny ears on the top of the set. Again, the bunny ears, the follow the white rabbit thing, the bunny ears in the dollar bill. Okay, a nice little reference back to that. This is also a silver V here. Okay, so again, there's this idea of going into, you know, on one side of the room we've got this TV, which is a lie, okay, and this is, you know, telling false truths, telling lies, okay, to people. Okay, so we've got them all focusing in on this, whereas on the back wall we've got something different. Anyway, that's what we're going to go to in a minute. So we've got like the polar opposite thing going on here. So this is kind of the Matrix, and then back here we're going to look at what's going on back here. Okay, so what else we got going on? Hang on, let's see if we can get a better picture of the back wall. Come on. Okay, this is what I want to look at. So we've got a couple of different things going on with this back wall. The first thing is, opposite to TV, we have another image here, which everybody is now focused on the TV. This picture that is behind them is of what you would traditionally think of as a, settler type, homesteading type image. Okay, man on the land type image. Okay, so the place where we probably need to get back to. Okay, this is not turned into, this is still in the frame, if you like. It hasn't turned into just a black box here, okay, at this point. But what has happened is, if you look on this side, okay, so what I'm saying is this is probably representing the temple here, so to speak, because we've got 4 pillars again, like the 4 pillars at the Hoover Dam, and we've got two towers on this side, and you notice this side the door is slightly ajar, slightly opened. I believe this is a reference to 9/11 on this side, because if you look at the way these we'll call them towers, the way these cabinets are split up, you'll notice that we've got three sections that are clearly stand out here, with the shelves being very white. And then you'll notice down the bottom though there is another separation here, but it's dull and it's not obvious. And again, it's on this other side as well, behind Milton's head here. But what we've got going on, I believe, is a reference to 9/11 with this three section split up, like is on the Twin Towers. But we've also got some more encoding going on with this more subtle division here as well. So what we've got is essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So essentially 10 different sections on this side, and then on this other side we actually have, again, when Marty moves his head, you'll see this is divided again down here, and there's actually 8 sections on this side. So we have another 8, 10 reference right here with the shelving here. Okay, but I believe that they're also trying to reference 9/11 with this set here. And the reason why I think this door is ajar is because I think they're trying to hint at the idea of when we're born into this world, which is what I think 9/11 is all about, is about the actual physical birth into the matrix. Okay, that's kind of a paradox of ideas there, but the idea is that this is us being born into the world and being under control. And the idea of this door being open, I think, is the idea of opening Pandora's box, so to speak. And so 9/11 was that, for me, was that moment of opening Pandora's box. The removal of 2 of those towers that were in balance. Okay. It's also interesting that we've got this chair on this side, which is a high chair made for a child. So we've got that idea of the child being born at this point, yeah? And that's what I think is going on there. I think this is a reference to 9/11 on this side, and the idea of us being born into the matrix at this point. Okay, the fall of man, if you want to look at it that way. But this whole thing here is the temple, which again, the temple represents also the dam. Okay, so if you like, we've opened that door and gone inside the dam, so to speak. Opening Pandora's box is going into that realm of fiction. Anyway, there's a lot of other things going on in the background. We've got this little set of candlesticks here. Again, could be another 9/11 reference. Could also be the kind of reminded me of the I was going to say the 2 winged angels, but one of the winged angels at the Hoover Dam with the 2 ears, or the 2 wings going up, sticking straight up in the air. So when I say 2 ears, I'm talking about they look also like the head of Anubis as well. Okay, and that's all to do with the underworld. Behind, I forget her name now, Marty's grandmother here, we've got a clock. Again, at the Hoover Dam, we've got a clock. And of course, that whole idea of the concept of controlling time with contract law and with birth certificates and so forth and so on, all those kind of deeds which anchor somebody to a point in time, and then contract law that binds that person. And when I'm saying person, I'm talking about a fictional entity here. This is the fictional entity that we play along with. Okay, somebody else has invented an identity, and now we've played along with it. What they did is they took some facts from your identity and used them to create the birth certificate. The day that you came out of the womb, well, we'll use that date to create the birth certificate. Okay, and so obviously people identify with that now. They will identify with the birth certificate. Yeah. So, and they might even put physical characteristics of the baby on there. They might use a palm, footprint, or a what color were the eyes, or something like that. You know what I mean? They'll write down physical characteristics on a piece of paper to create their fictional person, and then they'll hand you that piece of paper, and you will identify with it because it's got the same characteristics as you've got, and that's how the whole con job starts, So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But what we've got going on is, you'll notice there's a high, still it looks like a bit of a high chair there, but it's actually not got the it just looks more like a normal chair. It actually looks a bit like a bar stool, actually, but in a chair format. But anyway, we've got a normal chair on this side, okay? So this sort of idea of going from a child to a man here. But again, I've talked about the chair symbolism and the idea of being inside the Hoover Dam itself. Actually, if you looked at it, actually has that idea of being a throne. If you look at the actual wall of the dam, it kind of looks like the back of a chair, and then there's two legs coming out. Well, I say two legs. There's two arms coming out of the bottom of the Hoover Dam, which look like the arms of a chair, and obviously there's 4 pillars that the chair sits on. Okay, the 4 inlet towers at the Hoover Dam. But anyway, this is just the surface of this sort of decode, because there's something much more important going on here, I think, with some of the references that they talk about. So what I'm going to have to actually do is I'm going to actually have to play a little bit of this so you can
nobody here.
See what he says here. Okay, this is the bit that I want to talk about. Oh, coincidentally, we've got a four pillars here and an orb. We've talked about the orb before. Again, more references to the dam, perhaps there. He's asking where Riverside Drive is. Okay, so already we're starting Riverside Drive. Obviously, when we're talking about the river being dammed, obviously there's a nice Riverside Drive. It goes right across the Hoover Dam. Okay, now this is the important bit. When he asks where Riverside Drive is, he gets a response. It's a block past Maple. Okay, a block past Maple. We'll listen to that.
On the other end of town, a block past Maple.
Okay, a block past Maple. Now we're going to listen to this is a bit that some people talk about here with the JFK reference, and Marty does the little gun signal. Okay, but what he's referencing there is this is what people talk about. Well, he's referencing the assassination. Yes, he is referencing the assassination. Let's watch this little bit as well.
East end of town.
I don't want to play too much in one go, but this is important.
Past Maple, that side. It's John F. Kennedy Drive.
John F. Kennedy Drive. Okay, and he's doing his little gun thingamajiggy, action there. Who the hell is John F. Kennedy? I like the way he said, who the hell?
F. Kennedy.
Who?
Mother?
Anyway. That's as much as I want to show you for that, right? But what I want to concentrate on is what they're saying there. So, a block past Maple, okay, there is a code there. And the connection with John F. Kennedy, this is tying back with, I think is tying back with the dollar bill now, and I'm going to show you why with this next little bit, okay? So the first thing we need to do is we need to know, let's go to the number jumper, and let's put in, before we get started on all that, which I've just shown you, in fact it's going to come up the same date, we're going to go a block, which is 100. If you live in America, blocks are usually, 100 houses. I mean, now I've got motorbikes going or something down the road now. God, that's very rare because I live on a dirt road, so to hear stuff going down the road at blooming 12 at night. But anyway, May the 1st is Maypole. Okay, a block past Maypole, which we can convert to Maypole, and we know that the Maypole is used. I'm gonna have to look out the door and see what these guys are up to. Well, at least the dogs are barking at them. Anyway, hopefully nothing to worry about. But there's, you can always get some crazy people about. But anyway, a block past Maypole. May the 1st, when the Maypole is out and in use, May Day. Okay, a block past Maypole. Blocks are usually consist of 100 numbers on each block. Okay, so a block past Maypole to me is 100 days past May the 1st. Okay, and if we put that in, okay, it is August the 9th. Okay, so what, Dan? What does that matter? How does that tie into anything? How does that tie into JFK? Okay, right, remember this date, August the 9th, right? Now let's go to the dollar bill and let's do some blooming counting up of berries and leaves again. Okay, so if you're completely new here, I don't have time to explain all this. If you go back and watch some of my back videos, you can find out about what we're doing here with decoding the dollar bill. But what I have in here is fold lines, and this divides the dollar bill up into, sections, and we can count up berries and leaves in each section and on each half, and we can add them up in different ways, and we can pick out some numbers. Okay, so the first thing to note, I like to do it in red. The first thing to note is we've got 5 leaves right on this top section, okay, and 5 leaves over here, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm not going to do too much more of this counting stuff. I'm just going to write down the numbers. So we've got a 5 here and a 5 here. I hope I don't have to pause this video. They're still barking out there. I don't know what the hell people are riding around at 20 past 12 at night. Probably drunk or something. Crazy people. But anyway, we've got the 5th of May here is the date that I am using for my starter point, a starter date for doing all the number jumps in this dollar bill, right? At least the way I'm decoding it here, okay? So we've got the 5th of May. Maybe I should write that at the top here. The 5th of May. Sorry, I can't write very good because we are dealing with a mouse here. I wish I had a little pen and a pad to write on, but just got to do what I got to do. Now, the next thing I'm doing for this set of decodes is I'm looking between this line. Okay, oh blimmin' hell, that's not how you do one of those, Dan. Something more like this. Okay, well, whatever. We're looking at these 2 sections here, okay? And so what we can do is, again, we can count up leaves and berries, okay? And so to keep this simple, I've got 1 berry here, and I've got 5 leaves total in here. Okay, 1 berry and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. Okay, so let me get rid of that jazz there real quick. And I don't need that thing. So we've got 1 berry, 5 leaves. Okay, and then on this side I've got 5 berries and 7 leaves. Okay, I'm going to write down this first. 5 berries first and 7 leaves. I've got 1557. Okay, so what? I'm going to use those numbers there to do my number jump. Okay, so we'll go back to our number jump now, and we'll go from the 5th that's in the dollar bill, and now we're going to do 1557 as our number jump. Look where it comes out. You're not going to see much change here. Okay, there it is. Okay, we're actually looking at the same date coming up, August the 9th. Pretty interesting. Okay, what's even more interesting is that if we do a minus number jump with those set of numbers, we've now got the January the 29th date. Obviously, I don't have time to explain this, but if you're a regular here, you already know about January the 29th. It's, I don't know, it's just a number jump that we've looked at before. It ties back in with my chart of Lorraine and back to 9/11. Okay, it's 8,710 days from 9/11. There's our 187 number. Okay, and so with using this 1557 set of numbers now, we have now tied together January the 29th, a day that I was kind of hot for, and obviously the 129th day of the year, 5/9, the 9th of May, was another day I was hot for the Hoover Dam, something to happen there. And so this now ties to the 9th of August, okay, through this number here, okay, through the 1557, depending on which way we go from May the 5th. So we've got that tie-in, and we now have also the tie-in in Back to the Future with the Block Pass Maple reference, okay, to this August the 9th date. So that is really interesting, but it gets more interesting than that, because if we just change the way we add these numbers up in here, okay, and we say to ourselves, well, I've got 5 leaves over here, okay, and then I'm going to take this berry and I'm going to add it with these other berries, you know. So I've got 4, 5, 6 berries, and then over here I've got 7 leaves again, okay. So now I've got, it's basically the same set of leaves and berries that are making this number, okay. So it's essentially the same set of, it's very, very tied to 1557, okay, but now what we have is we have 5, 6, 7. 567, okay, as our number references. Okay, let's do some number jumps with those numbers now and see what that references. Okay, so let me do 6, what did I say, 5, 6, 7, if I could do it right, 5, 6, 7, right? Now let's do the number jump. Oh, there it is. So that's the same set of numbers, just added up just a little bit differently. Now gives us November the 22nd, okay, JFK's assassination date, okay. That is pretty mental. I don't know, what does it do when we go on a negative jump? 15th of October. I don't know anything about 15th of October without going and looking at it, but somebody out there, you might have something for me on that one, or something to share on the 15th of October. But again, 22nd of November, Marty doing the, you know, it's important that he does the gun symbol to reference the assassination of JFK, not just to reference JFK, but to specifically reference the assassination, to specifically reference November the 22nd. So I don't know. It's very, very, you know, again, this is just one of these decodes, which again, in the background with the cabinet, we have 810. Okay, I just did the decode on the clock tower where Doc is out front saying damn, 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 damn. Okay, that is also an 810. I think it all really references back to the number 18, 1118. Okay, that's what I really feel about the whole thing. But again, we've got 810, and obviously 810 is the day right after this date. Now, I'm a little bit, well, I'm going to have to go out there with a flashlight here in a second and just make sure nobody's robbing us. But but again, that date there, August the 9th, absolutely crazy that is, you know, obviously it's the, I'll tell you another thing interesting about August the 9th is if we now, okay, we don't need to save anything here, let's just go to the chart. You know, August the 9th, obviously, that connection back with the Queen's death on the 8th of September, obviously, we have the same numbers here for August the 9th as well, you know. Okay? So we not only have, you know, the Queen's actual death date of the 8th of September, but that same set of numbers, you know, is also a reference back to August the 9th. So, I mean, you know, anymore I don't know, because there's so many little references. But again, it's a potential day for the Hoover Dam to potentially collapse. August the 9th, the 10th. And obviously, we could see, again, I hate to bring Madonna into this, but we could see something with Madonna, maybe even on this day, or maybe even on, or actually today, August the 6th. Okay? That could be another potential day, you know, because it's just essentially the same number flipped around. Okay? Well, similar numbers is flipped around, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it really, but that is the connection there. You know, the definite connection. The block past Maple, which takes us to August the 9th, and then those same set of numbers that we used to do the jump in the dollar bill to get to August the 9th as well with the 1557. That same set of numbers can be reinterpreted as 567, and we can do a number jump there, and it will take us to JFK's assassination date. So I'm just gonna, that's when I'll leave the video. Pretty mental, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on another one here shortly, hopefully. Alright, bye, cheers.